Next, a massive field of cars, so big that they had to split the first race to Class A and B separately from Class C. With Class C going to be on their own, a little bit of a change up in the way that the start would happen as well. Both Class A and B would start in the same lights, and as they headed off the line, it's going to be Valdi Mikey's who'd be the man to beat. He'd already shown promise at the previous round. Ryan Thole was back. He'd be looking to get up into Class A's hunt. And Harry Potter looking to do some bit of a change around and turnaround of his season. As the lights went out and headed down to turn 1, it was Mikey's who got the squeeze, but Paul Atkinson just going ahead of him. Devin Piazzamusso not getting a great qualifying, had some work to do to come from 6th place.
Oh, these polos always, it's nothing but amazing racing from these little cars. And there goes Class B as they head off into turn number 2. Hard on the brakes, trying to get those cars all filtered through. A great job from the drivers to make that stick. Now it's all about getting on the gas and getting that slipstream down the back straight and hopefully pass on the brakes into turn 4 as we have a problem there for one of the cars.
Andre Cullett's pulling to the inside, issues right from the word go. That's a big problem for him, and I'm sure he's not going to be happy about that. We'll wait and see, maybe he can get that car sorted out for race number 2. But further back there, that is Ryan Thole behind Gavin Ross as Class A heads up towards Sassel. It's Atkinson from Valdi Mikey's and Harry Potter putting pressure onto Stevenson. Stevenson's buckled. Looks like he got out of shape, but he just hangs on.
Oh no, he doesn't. It looks like Hurley is going to make that move stick as we head further back in on track, and it's the Class B's and it's Nick Clark. He's been the man to beat the last couple of races, pretty much all season on board here with Brad Hall as he gets the drive now. Flick it flat out left down the hill, and he's not close enough to make a move there on the brakes going into the final turn.
Yeah, that's Darren Nathan who's just ahead of him, so he's going to be a difficult man to catch. And you can see that James Hurley's now starting to catch his car. Got out of shape there. As did Stevenson again, and there goes Devin Piazzamusso, moving up into 4th place, and now on the hunt for the starter pack car. It looks like Hurley is the target that is being sought after by Devin Piazzamusso. At the front end, though, it's Atkinson versus Mikey's. Here we go again. Wolf, this is going to be a war. It's not over yet. This is just another battle in this championship.
He's got the slipstream of Atkinson at the top of the hill. He goes on the inside on the brakes. Is he going to make the move stick? Are we going to see Atkinson? Yeah, there you see the Comsol car comes into shot, and great move there by Mikey's. He made it stick. Not easy to do that. Oh, we get one of the cars. Outbrakes himself at the top of the hill. Thank goodness for that. That was Wayne Krause in the Class A's, so making the mistake, but it looks like he's going to get back on track, and another mistake at the top of the hill.
Yeah, Jacques Smith's just trying a little bit too hard there. Remember, he's making a welcome return after a big crash and lots of damage to that car. The ELB man is back again. This is the Class B lead, and Nick Clark has not got away from Nathan. Nathan is giving everything he can. Remember, he missed out on the last round, and we had to put in somebody else into that car. I think it was Stuart Mack who jumped into that car for that round, but he certainly hasn't lost a thing and is certainly giving what as good as he gets at the front end of Class B.
And Greg, this is an interesting point. This yellow car coming into shot now, that is Francois Francel. He's moved up from Class C. He's done some engine modifications to now put him up into Class B, and he's doing a good job out there at the moment, running just outside the top 10 in the Class Bs.
Yeah, but he's doing a great job of stepping up, because remember, last year he was in championship contention for Class C, so he certainly knows how to get that polo around. With the checkered flag coming out, we know Valdi can, and he's taking Class A. LTR and Marty's Bodies has won out over Rory Atkinson, and what a drive here from Nick Clark. How he kept Darren Nathan out, only he knows, but he certainly did a great job of it and gets through for 1st and 2nd.
Okay, just to recap then, in Class A it was Valdi Meinke's just ahead of Rory Atkinson with Devin Piazzamusso there in 3rd. James Hurley, great drive, holding off Ian Stevenson, and Gavin Ross there in 6th place.
Class B went to Nick Clark ahead of Darren Nathan. Gerard Henning eventually in 3rd place, beating Brad Hall. Dane Stewart, Andy Gossman, Jacques Smith, and Francois Francel. A good outing for him. 8th in his first outing in Class B. A difficult day for Ian Stevenson.
They had a very good start. Got ahead of James and Devin, lying 3rd, and then started having gearbox issues, getting into 2nd gear. So turn 2, turn 5, critical 2nd gear turns, just couldn't get it together. Guys got past me. Back, changing box now. Be back in the 2nd race.
Class B's winner was Nick Clark, and he's now extending his lead in this championship.
That was a great race, one of my best so far. Me and Nathan pulled away from the whole field. We had a few scraps down here and there, no touching. It was a great race. Managed to take the win at the end, which was absolutely amazing. Thank you. Great credit to the team. Car was beautiful. And yeah, we're going to enjoy the nice day.
We're looking forward to Philip Cruz's point of view for Class C start as we go on board with him down towards turn 1. Looks like Stuart Mack didn't get a great jump off the line and is under pressure already. heading into turn 1. Cruiser goes around the outside of the black and orange machine as they head through turn 1 towards Renexcon. The drop off the line went to the Batman, and yes, this is him, Henry van Vletter, into turn 2 and heading into the dirt. What are you doing, Batman?
Already made a mistake going into turn 2. He was trying to defend that lead, just way too much on the inside, too much brake, and unfortunately ran wide. That's promoted this man, Keegan Masters, up into second place on track.
15 years of age and first time out in an official Volkswagen Challenge category. And looks like he's going to go head-to-head with a seasoned campaigner there and last year's champion. Oh, incredible stuff as they go side by side. It's Keegan Masters, the youngster, taking on one of the old guard, Batman, and right on his tail comes Voterus. So the Nathan's Motorsport boys are right at the front end. One is in first, the other one is battling for third. Stuart Mack is up there with them, and just behind, I think we're going to be seeing, yes indeed, the third of the Nathan's Motorsport and third of the Russes as Luan Rus comes to the party.
Oh, I love that shot. We talk about four-wheeled racing action, but going through the right hand there, Keegan Masters and Elke van Vletter had it up on 3 wheels, and there's smoke, and that's for Vletter making the mistake again in the Batman car. So not a good start to the race for that man.
Yeah, he's got problems on the braking, there's no doubt about it. Just locking up every single time he climbs hard onto the brakes. So it is going to be costly, and it's going to force him right into the back of this field, which is not what you want to see coming out of Henry van Vletter. As they head down into Renexcon corner now, it is Keegan Masters, Voterus and Stuart Mack. That is second, third, and fourth place. Zanderus has got away. He's put in about 2.5 seconds ahead of anybody else. And then the battle continues a little bit further back with Levine in there with Luan Rus. And looks like Captain Dick involved there as well.
I just love the confidence of Keegan Masters out front, really using all the track and more. Going into turn 1, you saw him flick the car to the outside. Look at that, running right on the curbs, trying to get as much advantage out of the Zwartkops track as he can to keep that man Voterus behind him. But I think it's only a matter of time before that Foster car comes through, and it might even happen here at the top of the hill. Keegan Masters, I think, is a sitting duck. We're going to see that VW Polo come on the inside. I'm pretty sure Voterus up into second. Yeah, nothing Keegan Masters could do there. There's the car up into second, making a Rus 1 and 2.
Rus 1 and 2, but have a look at Keegan Masters. His driving style comes out of karting. He's one of South Africa's top karters at the moment. He's doing a phenomenal job on the national championship side of things, and in fact will go to battle next weekend after this round to go and see if he can fight things out for championships in the karting. But right now he's going to get third place in his first time of asking in Class C. That's a magnificent effort. There you can see across the line just behind Voterus, who was about 3.5 seconds back from his son Zander, who took the win.
Yeah, Keegan Masters there in third, but not through a lack of trying. What a great drive there first time out. Stuart Mack picked up fourth. Elke van Vletter with those problems picked up fifth, with Philip Krauser there in sixth place.
We caught up with Zander to find out how that first race went all on their own.
Really glad with the result. I would just like to say thank you to Nathan's Motorsport for prepping the car. Chris, Dean, Graham, my dad, my sponsor, of course. Thank you.
Always a good sponsor to have, and well, Batman and Bat Lady looking to return. Unfortunately, Elko was only able to get a 5th place in race number 1, and we saw issues with the brakes on the Batman car. Looks like Andre Kallis has worked hard to try and get his machine back onto track. Hopefully they've been able to do that. And now we get ready for race 2, where all the categories are combined, classes A, B, and C. Heads up for chaos down into Renexcon corner.
Oh, this is going to be nothing but chaos, Greg. You said it, as we see 37 cars going into turn 1, and then they're going to bang it down into turn 2. And let's just hope and pray that they all make it through there. I don't think so. I think there's going to be some VW body parts flying all over the track.
A small break in proceedings to go to Class B, as you can see. It wasn't a huge gap that was left. Nick Clark leads things out as they go down to Renexcon. There's an awesome looking car, very Tron-esque. All the race circuits of the world all over Elna Cruz's car. Really nice job on that machine. And then comes Class C. Wow, we are in for a great one now. This is what it's all about in the Comsol Volkswagen Challenge. And as I say that, the Comsol car hits the front.
Oh, has he, Greg? Because it looks like going up the hill, that man Valdi Meinkies has got the drive, and he's certainly, yep, he's made the pass stick. So that man out front again, just where he likes to be.
Now look at Hurley coming on the inside as well. Looks like problems there for the first of the Comsol cars. In fact, the second of the Comsol cars. Stevenson going along, and side by side, the red wheels is Stevenson, the black wheels is Atkinson, and it certainly looks like Steve. Whoa! Little touch between the two of them, got out of shape. Hurley's involved. Here comes Wayne Krause, and we're on board with Devon. Piazza Musa doing an incredible job to miss all the action, and he goes for an overtaking maneuver after all of that and makes it stick. You go, Dev.
What a great piece of driving there from Devon. He really saw the advantage and he took it. And look at this, you can see cars swerving all over the track trying to find a piece of tar where there's not a VW planted in it. But what amazing racing. Class B at the moment is still that man Nick Clark, and he's not far off the Class A's.
Yeah, he's only just behind them. In fact, starting to close in on the back of them. The back end of Class A, of course, is now Hurley. That was the car that they were all trying to avoid down that main straightaway. Elna sneaking on the inside of Pete Porchita, going side by side. Kalitz is back, so the car is working. Probably not as good as what he'd like it to be, but fortunately he is back on track. This is Stevenson now. Ian Stevenson getting out of shape again, and wow, doesn't look like they've sorted those problems out. Devon Piazza Musso has moved to second place. That is a magnificent drive from the Piazza Musso Motorsport machine, as Rory Atkinson now has to try and survive this race if he can.
Now, Stevenson had that VW all kinds of sideways in turn 4, and he's definitely got problems with that car as he's running off the track, more on the dirt, more than he's on the tar, so big problems there. That's allowed the rest of the field to get through, but in Class B, it is still Nick Clark. In Class C, Greg, look at that, it is Keegan Masters. He's dicing it with the stronger VW Polos there, so let's watch out for the karting man. First time out and leading in only his second race in the VWs.
Yeah, incredible stuff. He's ahead of the Batman there in second place. You can see the Jumbo Golf as we see the Golf 1 here of Mrs. Batman, Alka van Vletter, heading down towards the final turn, G&H Transport Racing corner. And oh, Stuart Mack just squeezing Rus out. Can you believe that? That's race 1 winner now demoted to 4th place, and his brother is not too far behind him.
Now heading into turn 2 as we see some tyre smoke, and Ian Stevenson on the inside, and he's taken that man out. That's Ryan Tholey that he's taken out. Unfortunately, another car there.
Yeah, Gavin Ross involved in that as well. Here you can see Rory Atkinson's point of view looking back. He gets out of shape there. Ian Stevenson tags Ross. Tholey's got nowhere to go. Hurley sneaks up on the inside, gets gifted a position, and we're back on board with the Hellerman Tylon Polo. And this is Brad Hall challenging up into Sassel Corner. Hard on the brakes, late on the brakes, locks up ever so slightly, but just squeezes out. And you can see that battle is not done just yet. I think he might have run wide. Yeah, just too much there, Brad Hall. And oh, here comes Stuart. Woohoo! It's side-by-side action here between the Polos in Class B.
Let's go back to Class C now, and it's still that man Keegan Masters who is out front, and there's that beautiful car of the lady driver, car number 5. That's Elna Cruiser, and you just do not want her to put one scratch on that car.
They've really done a great job on that machine. Batman, though, seems to be battling a little bit. He's not going quite as good as he normally does. We saw some issues in race number 1, and hopefully he's got them sorted out. And Zander Rus now is unfortunately losing out lots. So is Vota. Vota Rus leading at the moment, but Keegan Masters certainly looking for an opportunity to get past on him. Vota Rus just snuck through a little bit later on in this race and wasn't quite expected from Keegan Masters, but I expect things to change around, because remember, Zander Rus is fighting for the overall championship. So there's a possibility that Vota will back out and allow both Keegan and Zander to get through, depending on where they are.
Now that just sounds all kinds of complicated to me, Greg. But out front, all the battling has kind of gifted the race win to Valdemeinkies. Piazza Musa has picked up second. We saw him dodging cars early in the race, so really done well to keep out of trouble. But this man, Valdemeinkies, a second win on the day. Really an amazing drive from the man, and he's going to pick up 2 wins and yet another victory for the season.
Yeah, good effort there from Valdi. Devon Piazza Musa, great drive for second, and Rory Atkinson will take third. Here's Class B. Nick Clark, yet again another victory. It's just one hand on the championship basically there for him. And Darren Nathan, no answer at all. Coming down to the line though. Oh yeah, as I said, there's Vota backing out. There's Keegan Master sneaking through, and Zander's going to get through as well. So that's great driving from Vota. It's going to give Zander Rus a second place bit of points, as opposed to having to settle for third. So good driving there from his dad, taking into account that this championship is almost wrapped up.
Right, let's have a recap then. It was Valdemeinkies who picked up the win ahead of Piazza Musa, with Atkinson there in third. Wayne Krause a great fourth, with James Hurley not where he wants to be there in 5th place.
Nick Clark took Class B's ahead of Nathan and Henning. Brad Hall, Stuart Smith and Millet Stewart beating Francois van Zyl.
And drive of the day had to go to Class C driver Keegan Masters, who picks up the win ahead of Zander Rus, who picked up valuable championship points ahead of Vota Rus, with Henry van Vletter there in 4th place.
Championship looks very tasty heading into the penultimate round, with Nick Clark in Class B leading ahead of Class A's Rory Atkinson. But you can see Zander Rus picking up some vital points there for third. Good drive from Devon for third in Class A.
Oh, it was a very good race, but unfortunately I dropped down to 6 again on my starts because they're still not good. But then everyone seemed to tangle up at turn 5 and 6, so I did a do or die move up the inside going into turn 8. It paid off. Then I saw Rory coming in my rearview mirror, but I managed to, he caught me a bit in the beginning, but then I managed to maintain the gap. So it was a good second for us.
Darren Nathan, welcome return, but not quite the way he wanted it to go.
Unfortunately, after about 3 laps in race 1, I got a hole in the fuel supply line. So the power went away and the engine temperature went up, and I think I did a bit of damage because race 2 the car got very hot. And obviously the hotter it gets, the power goes away. So I managed to hang on to 2 seconds, which is really not a bad effort.
And this is Rob's hero, Keegan Masters, after a magnificent day behind the wheel.
It's a very fun day. I mean, Botha and Zander was very competitive. And in the last race, I was chasing Botha down, and Zander was coming, so I was starting to worry a little bit, but I held it at the end.
Time for a bit of celebrations for some of our categories as they wrapped up. We've still got some action coming your way after the break. It'll give you a chance to go and get something cold to eat, or possibly something really tasty. See you after the break.